Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ripple Effect TV. I'm Chani Wolshansky, and I am so excited to bring to you this episode of our show because one of my favorite weeks of the year is coming up, and that is Teacher Appreciation Week. So Teacher Appreciation Week in the US usually falls out around May 4th. And the reason that it's so near and dear to my heart is because at the foundation of Schools of Excellence, I talk about the gratitude matrix. And everything that we do at Schools of Excellence is about creating and sustaining a school of excellence. So if you haven't watched that episode on the gratitude matrix, go ahead and watch it there. So in today's episode, I want to talk about four things. One, I want to share with you why I love Teacher Appreciation Week so much and its similarities with Mother's Day. Two, I want to talk about why your calendar is a huge part of your identity, specifically during this time. So if you're watching this episode when it originally aired, it's in April of 2020, and we are still in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic. The third thing I want to talk about today is the three things that your teachers need most right now. And the fourth is the 5 questions that you should be asking yourself before you choose any fun or creative ideas for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Hi, I'm Chani Wolshansky, mama of 4 and creator of the School of Excellence system. And I'm on a mission to help early childhood leaders build and sustain schools of excellence. So if you want to create a collaborative culture, build efficient systems in your school, and design an environment that can grow your team, then you're in the right place. In the last 15 years that I've been working in the early childhood field, I've become deeply passionate of helping leaders with their mindset, their skills, the tools, and the strategies to build their schools. So each week, I'll share strategies, advice, coaching, and inspiring interviews. I know that you want to create a ripple effect in your school and your life. So let's do this together.
So in a little handy dandy PDF that we created, which is actually just a really comprehensive resource that has direct links straight to all the different ideas. So you don't have to start scouring the internet. You are busy enough. We have done the work for you. So make sure that you download that PDF right under the link of this episode. So let's start with why I love this week. Okay, so with gratitude and appreciation, there needs to be this underlying part of your identity. I am a person who expresses gratitude and is grateful for everything that I have in my life. And so it's a habit that eventually becomes part of your identity. Now, what's really interesting about Teacher Appreciation Week is that even if gratitude isn't necessarily part of who you are yet, you are still taking a week of your life and focusing it on a key stakeholder in your school, which are your staff. So you see, the similarity with Mother's Day is interesting in that we need to show our moms love, attention, joy, and take care of them and show how much they mean to us every single day. But what's beautiful about Mother's Day is we take one day in the calendar and it's marked specifically for them, right? And what's interesting during this time is that, while I speak to my mother, once or twice a week, I'm speaking to my mom now every single day. I'm checking up with her. How's she doing? How's she feeling? She's, from the older population in our nation. She's also holed up at home with 3 teenagers, my 3 teenage siblings, and that ain't easy. So I'm just checking in and seeing how she's doing. And, this has really become kind of a new practice for me. And it's something that I'm excited about continuing. So if gratitude isn't necessarily something that is, fabricated into part of who you are, Teacher Appreciation Week is such a great catalyst and jumping board to go all in this week and then use that as an anchoring for the rest of the year to really stay committed to this practice. So let's go into why your calendar is very much tied to your identity. And again, you'll notice that I'm taking some breaks to sip coffee here. It's actually 5 o'clock in the morning here in New York, while I'm recording this. And the reason for that is because when the kids are up, there's scooters over my head, there's crying kids, there's all these things that we need to attend to during this time because all the kids are home. Also, a huge part of my creative energy comes when it's quiet. And so my brain I can actually hear my brain and all the creativity that comes with it. So waking up early and recording this episode for you guys. So I'm still getting in my caffeine while we do this together. So let's dig into why your calendar is very much tied to your identity. So what you put in your calendar is what you value. So on your calendar, in your phone or wherever your calendar is, if there's, calling parents, gratitude for teachers, clients, workout time to drink water, meditate, is your family on there, is your spouse on your calendar, are your kids on your calendar? That calendar is a representation of this is what I value. What is on this calendar, what I have taken time out to commit to is what I value. So you are taking time on your calendar for 1 week to commit to the practice of gratitude and showing your staff how much you value and appreciate them. And, if you are an owner or you're a manager, your directors and your administrative team need appreciation just as much as your staff do. So they might not be directly in the classroom in the front lines right now, but they are doing a ton of behind the scenes work to keep the center operating and running. So we understand why gratitude is important. We understand why we want it to become fabricated into part of who we are. So this is the part that typically the leaders jump into, which is like, I need creative ideas. So we jump into Pinterest and we start, looking for all the ideas, or we go into a Facebook group and we're like, hey, can everyone share ideas or whatever it is? And here's the thing. I'm a very creative person. I have a bajillion ideas before I even hit the morning coffee. And what's really important and what I've done for myself as a practice is I've created a filtering system before I put a creative idea out there. And the reason is because we don't want to be just doing ideas for the sake of doing ideas or fun things because they're creative and they're cute or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to do something because it's cute, absolutely don't stifle yourself in that way or squash that creativity. But at Schools of Excellence, we want to be intentional. We want to be intentional about what we're choosing to put out there into the world and what we're doing to truly create that connection with our team. So, right now, our staff, more than ever, need 3 things: love, belonging, ownership, assurance. They need this, they need those things on top of leadership and calmness. They're really looking for that connection with you and that assurance that it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And even though I have zero clue of what the next couple of weeks bring, I do know that as a leader, I'm committed to the pursuit of excellence, and we will figure this out. We will figure this out. So when we think of something as simple as clocking in, right? So for those of you that are partially closed or your staff are doing virtual right now, they're not coming into the physical building and clocking in, or however, they clock their hours. If you're a new teacher, right? Imagine a new teacher on your team. And it's her first day. She's done all the paperwork, whatever it is. And today's her first paid day. And she comes in and she wants to clock in, but her name isn't on there. There's an immediate feeling of, I still don't belong here yet. My name isn't there. Let's take it down a step to the children. on the first day of school or on the first day that the child comes in, one of the ways that the teacher prepares for the welcoming of the child is their cubby and their personal space that has their name and their picture. And that's, I belong here. I belong in this classroom. This is my classroom. It is so critical for the child's sense of identity to be part of that classroom. Now, when teachers aren't clocking in, when kids aren't signing in, we need to find ways to replace these bigger feelings and emotions. Because just because the expression of that emotion was taken away, we need to find another way that that emotion is going to have a container to be expressed. So if I can't find that sense of belonging and clocking in or putting my picture or seeing my cubby, or my sense of belonging and assurance usually came from sitting in the teacher's room or having a one-on-one in my director's office, whatever it is, for every teacher, even if you're still open, there's this shakiness of what I knew and what was part of what gave me that sense of stability is no longer there. And so the leader during this time of Teacher Appreciation Week, how can we look through it through the right lens so we're also restoring certain emotions that our teachers are seeking ways to express during this time? So before I share with you the 5 questions, I want to chunk it up one level and talk to you about my process, where when I am creating content or choosing ideas, for example, let's say the Summit of Excellence, our live event, which usually takes place every summer, I filter the exercises and the fun activities and the things that I want to do through a very specific lens, because there are specific emotions that I want to evoke in the audience, things that I want them to feel and think and do. And I need to be thinking about that from the audience perspective before I choose what comes from the stage. Your creative ideas as a leader from the stage that you're going to bring into the school, you want to filter it through the right lens so you're not overwhelming yourself with all the ideas out there, right? So especially during this time, there's so much of this comparison, and you need to do what's right for your school. You need to do what's right for you, for the resources that you have. Resources are not only money. Resources are people. Resources are time. Resources are energy. You need to check in and ask yourself where you're holding in those 4: time, money, people, and resource and energy. Because then you get to choose what strategies match that. Because when we give from the empty bucket, when we give and we're depleting a specific energy source, our staff feel it. We need to give from the right place. And if we're giving from a place of fear, the emotion that we're evoking in the people that we want to have them evoke the emotion of calmness, we're doing the exact opposite. So it's a paradox. And we want to be real about how we're showing up for the team during this time. So take the time to filter your ideas through these 5 questions that I'm going to share, because it will help you so much in choosing the right strategies for you. Okay, so I'm gonna get up my trusty little whiteboard here. And let's talk about the questions. All right, question number 1. What do I want my staff to feel? So if I choose this fun idea that I saw in a Facebook group or whatever it is, or if you choose one of the ideas that we have in our worksheet right under this video, what do I want them to feel when they are doing this exercise or see this thing that I created for them? Number 2, what do I want them to think when they see this? So when they see this, they're going to be thinking, wow, you know, that was really thoughtful, or that was really generous, or this took so much time, or I can't believe you did that, or whatever it is. Now, here's the thing that's important. Not everyone is going to think what you want them to think, obviously, right? Everyone's got their own perspective, everyone has their own view, everyone's got their own love language. But generally, what do you want your audience, your team to think? Okay. Number three, what can they share with others? So an important piece of the ripple effect is knowing that everything that we do has an effect on others. So if you choose a strategy and you do something with the team, is that strategy something that when they experience it, they share that emotion or experience with others? Meaning, if you made them feel amazing, and you instill this new level of confidence in them, do they come home now and give a certain assurance and level of confidence to their partners and their children, right? How can what you're choosing be part of the ripple effect? Number four, what do I want them to remember? Okay, remember this, right? We all have a limited brain capacity for what we remember, right? Our brain filters in and out. There's a lot of things that happen in the first weeks in the outbreak of COVID that I'm very beautifully forgetting. And the mind does that, right, to protect ourselves. So what do I want my staff to remember in a good way? How do I want them to look back at this week? Because Teacher Appreciation Week this year in 2020 is part of their COVID-19 story. And so when they remember this time in their life, this season in their life, part of it is going to be this week. If you take the time to really pour into it well, part of what they remember about this season will be the way you showed up for Teacher Appreciation Week. It will. So what do you want them to remember? And number five, what information do I hope stays in their heart and in their mind? So the way that I kind of look at it is like, what piece of information do I want to take real estate in their brain? Because when you take up a piece of real estate in your teacher's brain and they remember something, that's a huge part of the loyalty and continuity of your culture and of your brand. So what information do you want them to remember about this time? Do you want them to remember how you welcome them on the first day? Is there a specific little poem that you want them to remember? Whatever it is, right? For each of you, it's going to be something so different. So when you're choosing your ideas, I want you to think through these questions and decide what fun ideas or creative strategies answer these questions for your center. Okay, answer the questions for your center. So now I have two action steps for you. One is I want you to download this PDF, download this resource of inspiration, because it'll give you a wealth of knowledge. There's direct links there. It'll truly be a tremendous resource for you. So take the time, do a quick download there. The other thing I want to share with you is we are doing a free interview series called Schools in Crisis. And this is a unique opportunity to join me and thousands of other school leaders from all over the world for a 5-day experience where we're going to learn the effects of this pandemic and how it's affecting our social, emotional, physical, mental, and financial health. So we're bringing in tremendous experts that are going to be talking about all of these things. And they're going to be sharing tips very specifically on how to navigate trauma, grief, loss, classroom disruption, anxiety, how to make strategic decisions, how this is affecting our marriage and our parenting, our self-care, our mental capacity, our physical well-being, all the things. So you can sign up for free at khani.me/schoolsincrisis. And we also have all of the links below. Thank you so much for joining us and wishing you safety and healthy and happiness during this time. Take care.
If you like this video, make sure to subscribe using the bell so that you get notifications when we release videos twice a week.